Okay. Theories of the Witch, 2015 movie by Robert. Is it Eggert?
Uh, it's either Eager or Egger. I think it's Eagers.
Highly hyped up new director who made both this movie and The Lighthouse and a newer one called The Northman.
No, yeah.
Uh, Gets a lot of hype online. A lot of the horror community respects him a lot. Looks forward to his projects. I was kind of a novice to his work. This is the first movie of his I've seen. I'm curious to see Lighthouse to see how he improves as a director. But I got to be honest, Nick. This is a 7 on IMDb.
Yes. Meaning it is better than your BS It Follows movie.
Oh my goodness. It Follows, clearly the best horror movie of 2015.
I guarantee
we've
when
already
we looked up 2015 horror movies, we will find something better than both of these movies combined. Which ain't hard to do, really.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Wait a minute now. These are like two highly hyped up movies in the elevated horror genre. So we have to give respect to the elevation, which
I will
guess
respect this movie. I will not respect
Yeah.
It Follows.
Well, I'll do the opposite, sir. I'll respect It Follows. I don't want to disrespect this movie, but the first descriptive word that comes to mind when I think about my experience of watching this movie is boredom.
Bah!
Extreme boredom. Now, listen, I know that with a slow burn, I know that you have to kind of be patient. You have to really pay attention. I know that the elevated horror fans are going to just be like, hey, I have a short attention span. I didn't pay attention. Not really true. I've watched plenty of long movies. I wasn't even looking at my phone. I was watching it intently for the first half an hour. About 32 minutes in, I think I text you like, 32 minutes in, bored to tears, no idea what's going on. Now, thankfully, about 33, 34 minutes in, it did start to pick up, and I was reasonably entertained for the last hour of the movie. It's an hour and a half movie, but it does feel like it's 3 hours. And, time goes by fast when you're having fun, but time goes by slow when you're bored to tears.
Well, next time, just remember how long it took to get through It Follows. It took me 3 days.
Which I have no idea how It Follows was boring for you, but this was entertaining. It Follows at least attempts to be a horror movie, at least has some suspense. This is a family drama, my friend.
This movie has suspense in it.
This is not a horror movie. This is at most a thriller. I would say it's a religious thriller with cameos, like horror cameos. It's horror adjacent. And that's the kind of thing with elevated horror. Sometimes it feels like I'm watching a drama with some horror elements thrown in, but the core thing seems to be more drama than horror.
That's
and there's always, of course,
get us to like the more.
There's always a bigger message too. I think the message here probably is something like the evil, of course, is not really the witch itself. It's more the family turning on itself.
Yeah.
The sins of the father, the sins of the mother. Basically, her family is not that great, and it's more exposing them as a terrible family who turns on each other very quickly here. I think that's what the movie's more about. So you're always getting that deeper subtext, deeper message. I get that completely. I know A24 is famous for that kind of stuff. But a baseline thing for me for a movie is still, even with all that stuff in, even the slow burn element, is still to be entertaining. I feel like if you're bored 30 minutes in, you have to like almost preface with it's a good movie, but you have to stick with it. You have to let it get going.
Yeah, well,
that's why I'm not as high on it as the 7.0 IMDb rating, the horror community hyping it up. I'd say for me, in the elevated horror movies that I've seen so far,
which ain't much,
lower tier. Well, we have this Late Night with the Devil. Obviously,
is that classified as elevated?
I think so.
I figured that was more of like a possession, demonic type movie.
Oh, that's elevated too, though. When there's like deeper themes and a lot of stuff going on, I think that's kind of in the same ballpark. Maybe not. But I would say that one, It Follows,
Night House.
Night House.
Why do you hate
Night House?
I hate her.
Night House had some great moments, and I will say that the scary moments were very scary, and it clearly was trying to be a horror movie. So I'll give Night House props. This one felt like it wasn't really horror. It was drama with some horror elements. It was, oh, Get Out. I think Get Out's actually considered elevated horror too, a little bit. So
maybe not.
As a matter of fact, maybe that's the best horror movie of 2015 is Get Out. Now that I think about it, so
was that 2015?
I think so. It's either 2015 or 2016.
I think it was 2016 because I remember seeing it in theaters, and it was 2016 because I was I was out of the Coast Guard in late 2015. I know I didn't see it until like 6-7 months after that.
Okay, well maybe. Okay, but anyways, yeah. So maybe this is a movie that will grow on me with repeated viewings. It is a movie where there's probably more you can pick up on second, third viewings that you'll pick up on the first time. But my first viewing, I came away not impressed. Although I can see why people like it because it does leave you a lot of questions that we're going to explore today. A lot of theories we can go into about what's really happening in this movie. What's the actual story here? Is it like a witch movie? Is it a family drama? Like what's actually going on here? So we could kind of play with that today with our theories of The Witch.
Well, I guess it's not really a theory, but my first thing about this movie is I honestly kind of wish they never showed the witch until like the very, very end of the movie. Let this movie be 100% psychological thriller, almost in the vein of The Thing, is one of them doing all the messed up stuff that is happening to this family. Then you also got the actual family stuff, like the kid getting bewitched when he gets back home after seeing the witch. Like if we didn't know he's visited a witch, we could have easily assumed, okay, there's something's going on, bad crops, because we see that their crops have rotted.
Right.
That's the other thing that it could have given us the signs of a witch without showing us a witch is bad crops. Their goat was milked blood.
Right.
They had one chicken egg, and in that egg is literally a baby chicken.
Why? I think so. Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying exactly. It's basically essentially that if there was no witch shown, then you really can lean into then the idea of like, is this going on in their heads or is this really happening? Physically showing us the witch kind of kills the okay, they could be hallucinating and we're seeing what they see. So if they're hallucinating, we're seeing from their perspective that maybe it is all just a big hallucination. But it's shown so much on screen that you kind of, and even we get the cutaways to the witch actually on their own doing her own thing, like with the baby.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to actually get into the theory of like it's all in their head.
Yeah,
there's clearly a witch, right? So it's it's tough.
So, and here's a fun fact about this, because apparently this is a kind of a Puritan Christian family. They came from England in order to escape religious persecution, just to then be kicked out of the village they were living in.
Oh, they're about to get a real certain kind of persecution, I'd say. So,
yeah, but fun fact: if you paid attention to the judges of their case of right before William said, "I'm out of here," you paid attention to the judges. The middle judge is Julian Richings.
Ah, who is that?
Well, first he played the very first Three Finger. Okay, from Wrong Turn. He also was in a movie we did called Urban Legends. He was the janitor.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm actually kind of surprised they went ahead and dyed his little fake beard black instead of giving him a little bit of gray in there. And he also played Death in Supernatural.
I knew it was coming. I knew it could have been just Urban Legend and Three Finger. Is it Three Finger?
Three Finger.
All right.
He played the best Three Finger.
Okay, horror fans, also give us your thoughts on this in the comments. Nick has some idea that Three Finger is like some kind of horror icon. And I keep telling him, nobody knows or cares about Three Finger. He doesn't belong on your t-shirt. He doesn't belong in my background.
He's not on my t-shirt.
That's what I'm saying, and he should never be on the shirt or in the back on my background either because he's not a horror icon. When you say Three Finger, I just say, eh. And you say, okay, the guy from Wrong Turn. I'm like, okay, but not a horror icon. If you think it's a horror icon, let us know. But I'm gonna give a thumbs down for that.
I'm giving him a thumbs up because motherfucker has 6 movies.
Yeah, has anybody seen Wrong Turns Part 3 through 6 though?
Unfortunately, me.
I feel like you took a wrong turn in picking those movies to watch. So
yeah, see.
Wait a minute. You've seen all the Wrong Turns.
Yes.
You've seen all the Children of the Corns?
Not all of them.
Or was it Hellraiser? And you've seen all the Hellraisers?
Yes.
Wow. Sir, nobody can take your horror card from you. You've gone into the deep depths of horror hell. You've traveled great lengths, mined a lot of storms, a lot of fields you've mined.
And reaped.
I feel such a respect and also so much pity for you right now, knowing that you've watched all those movies.
I will gladly take your pity, and that's for your respect. Meh.
Haven't you also seen all the From Dusk Till Dawn sequels?
Yes.
And
I have not
that
seen
Vampires movie, the Vampire sequel, Bon Jovi?
Yes. And Vampires Out for Blood with, I believe, Kevin Dillon.
Folks, if there's a franchise that has bad direct-to-video sequels, Nick has seen them. I'm pretty convinced. So.
I have not seen all Prom Nights. I've only seen the first one.
You know, the second one is really considered better than part 1. We really should watch the second one because people like the second one a lot. So
I was thinking about it. Anyway, so back to the witch. So
yeah,
the fun fact of the witch killing the baby, doing the taking the baby, putting all of its blood all over. So apparently, that's actually a way for witches back then to gain flight.
I was gonna ask. There's an old saying. How many babies does it take to make a witch fly? Well, no, that's not a saying. I just made that up.
I was about to say, what the hell? But no, apparently
that baby's air juice. It causes that's the elevation in this movie. The elevation is the witch flying. So that's what makes us elevated. So
well, apparently the baby blood does something else to her because the next time we see her, she's no longer a hag. She is a young woman. She's playing with the mind of a lustful teen.
The actor, I read that the actor did feel awkward about this kissing scene. Not even for the reason you would think, not because she's like a woman, because it's like his first actual kiss, like in real life.
I mean, I know I said teen, but I'm pretty sure he was only like 9 or 10 when he actually filmed that movie.
Yeah, I think, somewhere between 10 and 13, I think. And that kid, by the way, Freddie Knox, the movie has great child acting. All the children in this movie are great actors.
All the acting, in my opinion, is good. The father, the mother.
Yeah, no, go ahead, sorry.
Especially since the mother happens to be, in a sense, our human antagonist for this movie. Because, let's face it, all these characters has some form of some sin going on with them. The son is lust, the father is pride, and in this case, the mother is wrath.
Right. Well, yeah, basically, again, to get to the deeper meaning of the movie, there is a witch here, but this witch only works in the context of this family is like basically a very easy family for the devil to take over because they are already kind of rotting on the inside, pretty much.
There's that. There's also the fact that they're also the only family around there that isn't fully protected by, say, the plantation, because the plantation is protected by walls. So the witch it would be a little bit harder for the witch to be able to snatch a baby from there.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, it's kind of like, yeah, they were sent to the woods here, basically, this whatever, banished to wherever, and the witch is probably thinking like, hey, I haven't had a baby in a while. This fresh family is just chilling here. This is like, an easy decision to make for the witch to be like, Oh, and the other thing too is like, so one theory you got to think about is the witch's motivation? Is it just to get the baby, corrupt the family, or does the witch immediately see a young teenage girl and think, hey, I can recruit her to join my tribe? I can get rid of the family and then make her have no choice but to join my tribe. Because this movie could be what's one long recruitment of Anna Taylor-Joy.
So I don't think that's 100% the case. I could see where that could be, just because more witches around. That means more people able to spread the word of Satan, obviously, and be able to get him more power by giving him more souls, more baby souls. Because I guarantee you, a baby soul. Think about how powerful that is, because it's uncorrupted.
not like that, but come on, nobody wants to fly alone. You want a comrade in the air with you. So
well, come to the end, you find out there's a total of 6 witches around.
yeah, what in the world? Yeah,
Actually, now 7.
Yeah, I think that so that's the thing. Basically, at the end, a lot of people at the end think that her becoming a witch is almost like, so some people think it's almost like a happy ending for her. They think that, oh, she's free from the religious Puritan. She's free to just basically be liberated.
It's a mixed bag for me, for 2 reasons.
Yeah.
One, I can see where it's happy. She's going to be happy for the first part of it. She'll probably be happy here and there. But you got to think about some of the stuff she's going to have to do. One, now Lucifer is her god. Lucifer may give her some freedoms, but he's also going to take those freedoms away if she does not do what is expected of her.
And also, it being a happy ending, you can kind of theorize, okay, maybe her family did treat her like shit, and maybe escaping her family was a good thing. But I still go back to, no matter what, it can't be happy, because she still basically had to sacrifice her baby brother. Like, that baby, no matter what you can say about the rest of the family, the baby was innocent, right?
But to be
So
fair,
the baby's the innocent thing here. So,
but to be fair, the most innocent one besides the baby, in my opinion, is the little brother, who's the second one to go. I mean, what his sin was literally just lust. I mean,
well,
unfortunately, his sister's the only one there for him to lust after. But
he's at the age probably where he started to go through puberty, and like that felt less like, yeah, that didn't feel like, oh my god, this kid deserves anything bad to happen to him. That just felt like he's in a weird circumstance where, yeah, and he, whatever. So,
but I will say, the scene where
the father and mother, I think, are the most,
they're the most evil,
sinful.
Yeah, because the father, he has such pride. He not only pretty much tells the people that took him in when they got to America, he told them, "Oh, y'all are fake Christians. I don't want nothing to do with you."
Right.
So he couldn't swallow his pride for the people that took him in. Couldn't swallow his pride to keep his family safe. Not only that, but he then takes stuff that technically was his wife's, knowing full well his wife would be mad, and doesn't even bother saying it. Even after she said, "Oh, well, I'm trying to find this cup because we can sell it and get some money off of it." Like, at that point, he should have been like, "Oh, I already did that."
Right. I mean, could you believe how quickly the parents turned on the children? Didn't believe them, basically vanished them off as thinking that they're pretty much demons and witches. Like, the mother especially turned so quickly on the children. It's like, wow.
Well,
holy cow.
No, the mother really only turned on Thomason. For the twins,
right.
She innocent spoiled.
Yeah.
But no,
what happened to the twins?
What happened to the twins? The witch took them and bathed in their blood.
Okay. So that's why when Anna is flying at the end, she's flying because there's been a refill of that baby juice.
Yes.
Man, wow. That's why it's like that happy ending thing. If you think about it, it's really not that happy. So,
well, the other thing is, it is kind of theorized that Satan or Lucifer gave her the power of flight for that one time without her having to do any real sacrifice, just so he can show her, hey, this is what you can have.
Yeah, and like I said, I think at the end, it's Okay, so that's let's get into that too. Also, do we need that ending? Does the ending work better if you just hint? Maybe what if you end the movie with her just walking in the woods? Do you actually need to show everything afterwards, or is it better to let's leave you guessing? Hey, did she do it? Did she not do it? Like, do you like that the ending kind of puts in your face? Like the whole movie's like, let's say, mysterious, what's going on, but the movie kind of just at the end just goes to like more conventional horror, like we're gonna throw in your face what happens, and the mystery is gone. And
Well, to be fair, Mystery was gone the whole time. We already knew what was going on. So
yeah,
with the context of what we're getting of this movie, I'm fine with the ending. If this movie ended up being one big psychological thriller, in that case, we could only follow Thomas and we couldn't cut to the parents. We couldn't cut to anything other than Thomas's point of view. But if it did do psychological thriller, then I would have been happy with it just ending with her walking into the woods.
right.
And also, let's
Yeah,
take out the Satan voice because what was that?
that sounded like Tony Todd to me. I was like,
No,
oh snap,
I,
Candyman's in this movie.
I would have been happy with Tony Todd, but this guy's
That's
like,
what it
the
sounded
guy
like to me.
like
Candyman.
did some kind of weird whisper, and I'm like, eh. Like I feel like Lucifer would have been more of a smooth talker, not just trying to be creepy.
So we're both on board with the idea, I think, of just eliminating the idea. We don't think this was like the family hallucinating everything.
Mm.
We
Well,
don't think that basically they had some bad corn crops or they had some bad food, some bad fungus that caused them to basically they're slowly dying here and hallucinating. We don't think that's the case. We think this is actual devil witch activity that has taken over this family.
yeah, and there is one more thing we can discuss actually.
Yeah.
Black Phillip. I know we mentioned that the devil shows up at the end, but the real question is: was Black Phillip always the devil, or was it just the twins playing around? And because they strongly believed that was the devil inhabited Black Phillip.
Well, one thing to mention is like were the twins pretty much corrupted from the very beginning? Like,
I mean,
did Black Phillip always have an influence over them
well,
from the beginning?
that's if the devil was inside Black Phillip this whole time. Like I said, it's
Yeah.
possible the devil didn't actually inhabit Black Phillip until the twins were introducing the idea, given that kind of power of thought into it. So it's like, okay,
Hmm.
now I can possess them because these kids are giving me that permission.
Hmm.
But it could also be, he's was Black Phillip the whole time and did corrupt the kids.
Yeah. I'm kind of what you said at the beginning. I'm with you on that. On one thing of like, yeah, as I think about it, I love it's kind of like a trope basically where you don't know if it's actually happening or just something going on in the character's head. I would have loved, yeah, to keep the witch, everything so completely absent that the whole thing is a guessing game of are they actually being haunted? Is anything actually happening or not? Now, if they did that though, the movie would have even. I'm saying that, but it wouldn't even be. It would be even less horror if you remove the witch elements. Then it gets very just psychological thriller. And there's no horror elements. At least the close thing to horror would be when what's his face gets lost in the woods and then finds the witch's place and all that. That
Well,
was
to be fair, we'd have to
genuinely
take that.
creepy.
We'd have to take that out too, because
Yeah.
if it's a
That,
psychological thriller, we can only follow Thomason's point of view.
and that if you lose that, you're losing basically one of the only genuinely scary moments. I think it's funny. People sometimes here's the thing with elevated horror. I think is how it's defined. It's like it's not about jump scares, not about scary moments. It's about the idea of the situation is so scary that you feel tension from the situation the characters are in. And I get that completely. I remember that's kind of how the scary part of Get Out is not like that's a scary movie. It's just wow, what a situation to be in. It's a scary situation. With this movie, though, like I said,
Well,
even as
none
it
of us
gets
are going
going,
to be in
though,
this situation anymore.
yeah, but I never the tension even ratcheted up. I mean, I was definitely cheering for Thomason to get out of this situation, but I mean, I don't know, scared. No.
No, but yeah, like I said, we already talked about how the father was Pride, and he got completely bum rushed and stabbed by Black Phillip because I guess Black Phillip did not like the father.
Not well with what he did to him. I'd say I didn't like him at all. So
Well, there was also the fact that you know, William did manhandle him at one point.
yeah,
And also, you do get that one scene where William is confessing overnight while he was chopping wood, confessing that, hey, take me, don't mess with my kids. Which,
yeah.
Satan's not going to mess with your kids. That's fine. He'll take you. The witch, on the other hand, she doesn't give two shits about your prayer.
Well, again, so one thing again about the family turning themselves. If this family was, let's say, on the up and up, let's say if they were all good people, then does any of this happen? Does the witch leave them alone if they don't see like an entryway to the sin factor, basically? Like, because it's almost like it doesn't matter if the family, if the witch is going to get them no matter what, then it's like their behavior doesn't really matter. It's just like delaying the what's going to happen. But if
So,
it's them being sinful is what caused the witch to come after them, even though the witch really doesn't come after them per se. She takes the
no.
baby and then
Yeah.
she makes the one kid sick. But other than that, she's chilling. She's doing her dance, chilling.
So, really, uh, most likely she only targeted the baby to start with. And when she took the baby, that's when all the sin,
Whee!
that's when all the sin started to get rampant with all of our characters, and that's when at some point, whether Black Phillip was always Satan or if Satan had just inhabited him, Satan decided to went off on that because he also did make the mother Kate write in his book, so she
Right.
is always going to hell now. Once the minute she dies.
Yeah. All right, Nick. One final question for you. Would you recommend The Witch?
So for me, yes, because I do like the suspense, the atmosphere of this movie that this movie gives. I do like that the story this movie gives. The only complaint I have is they pretty much showed their hand too early.
Hmm.
If they had kept the witch a secret, either through the whole movie or until the very end, I would have been happy with the psychological thriller of family going through some hardship, this hardship.
Hmm.
But overall, I'm happy with what the movie is. I do enjoy it. And Anya Taylor Joy as Thomason is amazing, but she's always pretty damn good. All the children are good. Innocent as William is good, and Kate is also plays in a damn near insane woman, especially in Game of Thrones. So
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, quite the glowing endorsement from Nick Arcana. I'm going to say this.
you hate the
I
movie, so
wasn't
no.
I wasn't feeling this movie at all. But let me first it's a nuanced take though, because the thing, the movie's very well made. I appreciate the authenticity the movie brings in terms of there's obviously a lot of work put into how they speak, how they dress. They really want to get that time period correct, and they do a good job with that. With how they speak, unfortunately, I couldn't understand half the dialogue. So I didn't know what the character was saying half the time. I had to pause it, rewind it, and then I got it. I needed subtitles basically to watch this. But I understand they're going for like the pure thing of like, this is how they talked. They don't want to sacrifice, the credibility of that. But the movie was hard to understand a little bit. It's a very well made movie. For me, I don't know. I think like if the story grabs you, then you can go along with the story. For me, that first 30 minutes didn't really grab me, and I just felt kind of like it was like a slog. But I appreciate that the second half of the movie did pick up the pace and that there was some horror elements. But ultimately I see it more of as like a drama, a family drama with some horror elements. But I'm gonna give it a light recommendation. It just depends on if this is like your kind of thing, like religious horror or very, very slow burn horror. Obviously, there's a huge audience for it. It's a 7 on IMDb, a 91% Rotten Tomatoes. But I don't know if I'd watch it again. And that for me keeps it still as a light recommendation. Definitely worth a watch one time at least. But I'm not gonna buy the Blu-ray. So
I already have the Blu-ray.
I figured you did, buddy. Now you do have that, but do you have It Follows on Blu-ray? That's the question.
I will never have It Follows on Blu-ray. That
95% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I'll never have
Now,
that boring ass slog of a walk movie on Blu. That movie moves so slow. I can outwalk it, and I'm fat.
the I think one theory we forgot about The Witch is that what this movie is really about is really this movie could be called The Witch, but the subtitle could be Troll 3. Because really what's happening there is these characters are been banished to Nilbog. And that's that same witch from Nilbog that's
Nope.
in the woods there. That's very,
Nope.
very similar behavior from that witch.
Nope.
From the one
Nope.
in Troll 2.
Nope.
Nick's favorite movie.
And on that note, Vic has been canceled a second time.
Listen, on the topic of elevation, there's It Follows, and there's like Night House, and there's Get Out, and there's The Witch. But then on the highest level elevation, Troll 2, right up there, looking down on all. They're not even peers; they're below it. So, Troll 2. If you haven't seen it, Tubi. It's on Tubi. I saw it on Tubi. By the way, shout out to Tubi. I think I say it, but last week I was on Tubi and I couldn't get off of it because I would watch something or start watching something, and then on the recommendations I'd be like, "Oh, that sounds interesting." Perfect place for horror movies. Tubi. I used to be a hater, but I've been converted to
I
a
know you
Tubi.
used to be a hater.
Well, yeah, but now I'm like, geez. I mean, there's a lot of interesting, lesser known horror movies on Tubi. All these bad sequels that Nick watched are mostly all on Tubi. So if I do want to watch all the bad sequels, that's where to go.
I will say, if you ever are on Tubi and you see a movie called Black Slasher, don't watch it.
Don't watch it.
Don't watch
Okay.
it. It's one of those.
The next one I'm going to watch is something called Cutting Class. It's like a Brad Pitt horror movie from like 1989 called Cutting Class. So the story sounded somewhat interesting. So, all right, folks. Until next time, our next theories. Let us know let us know what you think of The Witch also in the comments. Did you love it like Nick loved it, or did you feel somewhat unimpressed, unenthused, unflattered as I was by it?
And as always, you don't have to go home, but you do have to roll up a newspaper and smack Vic upside the head for saying Troll 2 is elevated.
You can't deny the elevation of Troll 2, all right? You just can't deny it, all right?